We're done.
Wow, we're having a good time.
Good. I'm glad we got that over with and we can just part ways.
Alrighty, welcome to CD-ROMP, a brotherly stroll through the PC games of the 90s and early 2000s. I made sure I really enunciated it that time. My name is Bob, and join with me I have my brother. Before we started, we talked about getting the intro down, and Jim just started steamrolling over me.
We talked about how
Tell them what I said.
You said, "Oh, you don't have to just say your name; you could do a whole thing." And so
I said, and my brother, you could do whatever you wanted. It was Bob, and you start going, "I'm James." Wait a second.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Well, we're here this week to talk about RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Yep.
Is that you're applauding right now?
Oh yeah, this digital.
Someone's applauding somewhere. Someone's applauding. I guarantee it. So this actually was a reco / a request. Maybe we'll just call them recos. Recommendation from Joey Bombs from Staten Island. Shout out to the homie. But a lot of people have actually asked for this one and mentioned it. A lot of times when I tell people that we're doing this podcast, they say RollerCoaster Tycoon immediately. This is like a very iconic game for the era for a lot of people.
You know what's interesting, Bob? Is when people tell me that I'm doing this podcast, they say, "Why?
Sure.
Please stop."
But that's also you telling you.
Right. It was a mirror I saw this in.
That's why I look so much like you.
Yeah.
Jim, I can tell you one thing about this game.
Yeah.
There's probably a reason that a lot of people mention it, because it was the year's best-selling game.
Now, I remember.
Yeah. 1999.
I don't have too many extreme
thoughts
recollections, memories.
So you have like a cadre of extreme recollections.
Yeah, I have some, but not too many.
Okay.
But I do remember seeing in like GameStops and like EB Games, things like that, a lot of RollerCoaster Tycoon boxes and expansion boxes and stuff. So like it must have been popular for a long time as well.
It was very popular, and they came out with the follow-up expansion packs, Corkscrew Follies in 1999, and Loopy Landscapes in the year 2000. I think they might have had different names overseas. We're in America.
Okay.
Hello, America. Yeah, but that's the names here. And those are basically just like expansion packs that had maps and different new rides and skins and all kinds of stuff to expand on the game while keeping... that is usually
the purpose of an expansion pack, is to expand on the game there, Bob. That's
true. That's true. I feel like I did explain that fun. Well, let's say someone just wandered out of the woods and they've never heard of an expansion pack.
Or they just picked up headphones connected to a computer and
what? Expansion pack? What is this? Well, now you know. It's not just something that makes your game physically bigger or your body physically bigger. Although sitting around and playing games longer and longer will make your body bigger. I can confirm.
Unless you don't eat also while you're playing.
Yeah, that's true, because was it TDEE? Basically, like your body being alive burns calories. So congrats. If you're not stuffing your head right now, you're actually burning calories.
But even if you're eating like celery, I think those are negative.
That's true. If you're eating that Celeroid
or ice,
you're actually getting
snow,
ripped right now.
If you're eating snow right now,
if you're ripping ice cubes while you listen to us, actually turn it off, please. So that's what you're doing. We actually don't want you as a viewer, listener. Yeah. That's a very good point. If you're listening right now, you could be viewing, and if you're viewing right now, you could be listening. We're available on YouTube. You can see our faces. Jim, move so they know that you're real. Okay. And now I'll describe this for the people not on video. Jim is doing some kind of open mouth gasp move.
I was frozen. Hands, I don't know if you could tell us.
About 1.5 feet apart. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. And if you want to find out all those different versions, you can go to cdromp.com, or you could hit up our YouTube channel, I Drank Beer. There's all kinds of weird stuff that we do on there. And we'll continue to be weird stuff and get weirder and weirder. Is that true? True or false?
Medium.
That's going to go ahead and be a true. All right. So I'm ready to talk about this game right now. RollerCoaster Tycoon. Just so you know, the words roller coaster are together with a space, although it's in camel case, capital R, capital C. Don't know why.
So why are you mentioning this?
I don't know, because I'm looking at it and I found it interesting because I've typed it out so many times.
Oh. But
is roller coaster one word normally?
Right. So I think it is. So I don't think that the title is special. I think that's just the word.
Well, they capitalized the C in RollerCoaster Tycoon, RCT.
That could just be the font they used, typeface, if you will.
Is that a fun font?
Yeah, it's a fun font.
Okay, it's a bit of a fun font. So this is interesting. So this game, super popular, right, in the 90s, at the end of the 90s. Yeah. What I liked about this game is when I went to do the research, because I actually quite enjoy doing a bit of a deep dive into the research, and this just so happened to have a Ron Gilbert type a guy who designed and programmed the whole game himself. Okay, and his name is Chris Sawyer. You might notice when you play the game, it mentions it at the beginning and it's in the credits somewhere else. I believe he's from Scotland. Okay. He did all the designing and programming. I'm going to talk a little bit more about him later. The graphics were by Simon Foster. He did all the graphics, and we'll talk more about that. And the sound and music was from Alistair Brimble. They're all very British names. Chris Sawyer, Simon Foster, Alistair Brimble.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Chris Sawyer started out his career designing games. He did a Qbert clone. I don't remember the name of that. And then he did a number of PC conversions and clones from other systems. Basically doing ports.
Yeah.
He did a number of different ports, kind of cutting his teeth. And he was known for his really strong chops of writing games in assembly.
Okay,
which for those who don't know is pretty much the lowest base level you can write code in. It's one step up from just shooting zeros and ones at a page. It's one step up from there. You probably heard of things like C, Java, C#, Ruby, Pascal. Shall I go on? Should I keep flexing? Jim, would you like to throw it in?
No.
COBOL. Let's throw out some COBOL. I think it's only on like old bank software right now. But that also could be from 20 years ago. Anyway, so the interesting thing about Chris Sawyer and writing his games in C, assembly, is that it allowed them to perform super, super fast. You're like as efficient as possible writing the lowest language as possible. So that's why in a game like this, that was in 1999, for example, I have one note here. At one point I think it was 950 people in my theme park and all these rides going and the music and the sound hold on.
You had 950 people in your
Let me check the note. It was at least 850 or 750.
You only had all right.
Sorry, 847 was the highest number I clocked.
840. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out. So let me just explain how this podcast works. I usually this happens. I start out too quick out the gate, too quick on the jump. So the way this works is my bro there, James, and I, we take turns every week picking a game. One picks one, then the other picks one. And then whoever picks the game has to do the research. The other person has to really focus more on the gameplay and how it was. And Jim's going to not reveal, not rebuke, regale us.
Regale, yeah, that's fine.
And in order to get enough information to talk about, you have to play the game either 3 hours till you beat the game, or in Jim's case, because I know that he played 2.5 hours of this game.
What? That can't be true. That's not true. Fuck that. Hold on. You keep talking. I'm gonna check my Steam logs.
That's where I saw it on Steam.
Get fucked. No
it's
way.
It's in 2.5 hours. That's what it said. Maybe it didn't update it. Or until you feel like you've got it. If you get to a point that you really feel like there's nothing else to gain.
No. It says 3.3. Get fucked.
Okay. I apologize. I don't like that I had to apologize just now, but I do apologize.
That was shocking. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that you were legitimately shocked. I thought you were joking at the beginning, and then I could see you were actually surprised. So that was it. See this kind of level of entertainment? That was actual
so
shock
entertaining.
right then. Yeah. So it might have been more popular in the UK or maybe just with the older generation, but Chris Sawyer is actually previously known for his game. What the hell? I think it's called Transport Tycoon. It came before.
Was that the original Tycoon?
Yes, that is the original Tycoon. So in that game, there's like planes and trains, and he really likes trains.
You know, Bob, I feel like I wouldn't know or be as familiar with the word tycoon if it wasn't for RollerCoaster Tycoon and the other Tycoon games. Because it's really just like
Fair enough.
1800s or like the Tycoons, and then it's like this.
Well, I think there were some 1900 tycoons.
Were there? Well, like what's
or were they just
like Carnegie?
Oil? Well, yeah, like
they were
oil
barons. They turned into barons. The tycoons
at one point,
turned into barons.
Came barons. Yeah. But yeah, no, I actually agree with you. I think tycoon definitely, like, that word spread, and there was a lot of different games that jumped on that. Kind of like adding sim onto the end of that game, and to the end of a name of a game, because not all of the games that have sim in the name are by our homie who made The Sims, and I can't remember his
Ron
name.
Gilbert,
I apologize.
probably.
Not the only name I can fucking remember in my life anymore is Ron Gilbert.
So it's not Gilbert. We'll call him.
If I get amnesia and someone finds me after like a plane crash, they're like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I think I'm Ron Gilbert."
Ron Gilbert. Ron Gilbert.
Ron Gilbert. It must be right. He seems to know. Yeah, so he did that game. Really popular. Then he got the monies from, God damn it, I had the notes. It was published via Hasbro Interactive by Microprose. I think that they did a number of games, and I always get mixed up which one's the publisher and the owning company, whatever. But it's Microprose and Hasbro Interactive. Hasbro Interactive had a lot of games back then as they started buying up some of the smaller publishers. I think that's accurate. Anyway, he made the game.
No way to know.
He didn't. There's no way to know. He made the expansion. Then he made RollerCoaster Tycoon 2.
Yeah, okay.
At this point, it's like mid-2000s, and he's still writing everything in assembly.
Really?
Which is pretty much insane.
I mean, I guess if it ain't broke.
Yeah. It's just like an incredibly complicated way to do it. But again, you can get a lot of performance out of it. The problem was by that point in history, the higher level languages actually got to be pretty performant. So it didn't really make that big of a difference, but it's a achievement nonetheless for those of you who are into coding. I'm sure that sounds crazy. Anyway, so he did that. Eventually, Hasbro or whoever the hell owned the rights at that point started to continue to make games under the name. He wasn't involved. He kind of fell out from the industry. He didn't like it. He didn't like the way that it became all big companies that had giant teams. It took months, no, maybe not months, years. It became very large scale and very disenfranchised with the process. I forgot to mention, and this is like one of the most important notes of the history.
Okay.
While he was working on a new feature for Transport Tycoon, he was building the trains and he wanted to make the trains physics more realistic. He said, you know what, for shits and gigs, I'm going to make this train into a roller coaster.
Whoa, and the birth, the genesis.
And the genesis. And he was like, wait a second, building these roller coasters is actually pretty dang sweet. And so that happened. And that's why the game came to be.
Let me add some finagly customers into this.
Well, fast forward, and he eventually made his own game about trains, Chris Sawyer's Locomotion, which, I don't know, maybe was still written in assembly. Hard to say. Maybe not. It was pretty far forward. Also, he might have done that before he retired, reading my notes all over the place. Either way, he finally got to make a game all about trains again. People weren't too crazy about it. At this point in history, the graphics had gotten pretty good, but he made them like way too realistic. So there was a lot of dark greens and browns.
Too realistic. Really. This is exactly what trains look like.
No, it turns to the landscape.
Oh.
They're like, this is very boring. There's so much dirt.
Oh my God.
Maybe we could have thrown a couple of Ferris wheels around here or something.
Is this what cacti really look like?
What? So if I can remember, I'll put the link in the description below because I watched a really good video on YouTube that went into this whole thing. And he was really talking about how he liked how this creator was one of those guys, I'll say people, I don't want to be sexist here, although they were mostly men at the time. Either way. That was like, could have been this huge rock star-ish video game guy, but he remained very humble and didn't let it go to his head. And he didn't have got too big for his britches and then made a terrible game, which a lot of them unfortunately did.
But you did say that the game that he made, people didn't like.
They didn't love it, but it wasn't like one of those games where they spent like a jillion dollars and was like garbage. Here. Yeah, well, I'm revising as I go.
Yeah.
Fast forward again. RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic comes out for Touch. And it kind of incorporates the earlier games or it was like a revamp of RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. It wasn't him that made it, but he did have some input into things. And he was really happy that they kind of took what he said into account. And he made sure that there was no microtransactions or ads within the game. He didn't
so
want
when was this?
2016.
Oh, snap.
It says. Yeah. He didn't want pandering for money. He wanted people to just enjoy the game. And eventually that came to PC. The version that we played, they're all kind of smushed together, a number of the different games. The version we played was on Steam called RollerCoaster Tycoon Deluxe. And it's the first game and the expansion packs. But, as I'm sure you noticed, Jim, and actually I fucking just realizing I did a bit of a bonehead move.
Okay.
You can play from any of the expansion packs or just the original. Yeah. And I only played from the original.
Okay, so did I, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I thought that was
I don't think we're going to go back and do loopy landscapes, but who knows?
You never know.
Maybe we will. Yeah, you never know. And that's where we get to gameplay.
Yeah.
Which is the next part of the game. Jim, I'm going to pass you the baton for those of you watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Here's the baton. Pass the baton on the left-hand side.
Yeah. So here's
going to be Irie.
So in the grand scheme of things, what I'm realizing is that there's been some sort of coordinated smear campaign to depict me as someone who doesn't even like video games. Because, again, I really did not enjoy playing this fucking game. And somehow you've picked a few games in a row that are beloved franchises that I've managed to not enjoy playing for many hours.
Timeless classics. Yeah. Bought and loved by millions.
Including us. Bought.
Including us both. Agreed.
Yeah.
I have some theorems on that. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So
lead me through.
Yeah. So you open up the game.
Okay.
And like I don't remember
which took me a couple times.
The exact sequence, but I'm pretty sure it's like that's like a roller coaster sound as it boots up. Is it not?
It doesn't have a roller coaster sound. You know the sound? It's like click, 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 click. It's pulling you up and you're about to go down. It goes.
I just remember the meow.
Well, you might have been wildly clicking.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do click a bit. Yeah.
My actually, for whatever reason, I could only get it to start like 1 out of 3 times.
Yeah, so it was kind of buggy, and it really. Yeah. So I have 2 screens. You have, I think, 3 at this point. It was like because the aspect ratio, I don't even know what it was running on, but it was completely fucking up my other screen to where it was like chopping it in half. So the things that I had full screen on my other screen would get like chopped in half and like pushed off my desktop. Like. So I couldn't even put things up on my other screen because it would get fucked. And then when I closed, so we didn't even get into actual gameplay yet. Yeah. And then when I would close this game, when I'd be done with this game, like for some reason, it like freaked my computer out so bad that I like couldn't click things anymore.
Jim, didn't you see me trying to type to you earlier?
Is that because you were playing?
Yeah, I just played right before that.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is up with this port for Steam or whatever it is. But like it completely locked up my computer from being able to do anything.
Up your computer.
I couldn't fucking click on anything.
I agree. I had that happen a couple times.
The Windows key could work, but I couldn't click anything. Like, and I couldn't do any shortcuts. I have the Windows key pull up my taskbar, and then like eventually I was able to like after like 5 minutes I could do like Alt Control Delete to like shock the system, and then it would let me click things again.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had that same experience, and I also found when I had my other monitors on, it wouldn't start at all. It was happier when I only had one.
So weird. It was really. I
feel like I kind of remember that being a thing too.
It was really weird
at some point. Yeah, but now I feel better that my keyboard isn't breaking because it was like buffering inputs like crazy. Well, now I have to fucking restart my computer because RollerCoaster.
So another
Chris Sawyer, you need to talk to Steam.
Oh man, I'm sweating.
Break out that assembly.
Game. So another big picture problem I had.
Sure. At this point, I haven't started the game.
Yeah.
I just want to keep adding these reminders.
No. So all right. So I won't get to the next thing, but I'm gonna.
I want you to
circle back. No. But it's related to a further development. Okay. All right. Because you want to go procedurally how I go through the game.
I think it's easier to remember that.
So like you
and lead.
Yeah, you can go and you can click. There's like lighthouses you can pick on.
Hold on. This is Jim's description of RollerCoaster Tycoon when it starts out. You can go and you can click.
Yeah, you can. I'm not wrong.
I mean,
so like it boots up like a picture. It does like the roller coaster sound, and it shows you like a picture of a what's it called? Amusement park with like the roller coaster sounds.
It's not a picture. It's happening. There's a game playing, like a demo in the background.
Was it?
On the screen.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
It's actually happening. There's things moving around. There's music. Maybe on yours it was froze.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's not impossible.
Yeah, and then you can choose to do like a new game. It shows you the different expansions. It is like regular, and then in like tabs of like a browser, it shows you like loopy, loophole, bungee, bunghole, whatever they're called. I don't remember.
Yeah. There's no straightforward campaign. You could pick what you want to do.
Right, and then so you get to do like a new game. I don't remember exactly. I didn't write down the entire format of the start the game screen or whatever, but you could pick. It lets you start out with like 4 different parks, or 4 or 5, something like that. There's like
scenarios.
Yeah. It's like Frosty Frontier or something like that. Do you remember what it's called?
The woodland one. Forest Frontier. Something. There was a desert one. There's one on a lake. And then there was one that was like surrounded by apartment buildings or
something like that. There's one, and there's one that's already an ongoing park.
Yeah.
I forget what that one. Diamond.
Giving you like a variety of options of how you want to start.
So I went with Final Frontier, whatever it was, Forest Frontier.
The desert. No, okay. The very first one.
Yeah, the first one.
That's what I did as well.
Yeah, I figured let's do the first one. Let's go for it.
So get our feet wet.
Yeah, it just starts you off, and then it's just you can see like the landscape, and there's like the entrance to your park, and there's things along the top of your screen, and then it's just silence.
HUD. Yeah.
And it just
this is good, Jim.
It's just silence. And
like epic, what is it? Epic Simulator. What was one of the Sims when your Sims never shut up? What do we call it? Eon Simulator.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's also time in this game as well.
Yeah, so we'll get to the time in a minute.
Okay. Sorry.
I didn't notice how deafeningly quiet it was until later, but like, because I'm into it, like right from the jump, I'm like, all right, here we go. Because in my head, I remember like building roller coasters that like went through the water, went underground, went up in the air, all sorts of stuff. Like, so I was excited to get into it.
All right.
And then right away, I'm like clicking and like nothing's happening. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's start troubleshooting this bad boy. And then I'm like, all right, we got to dig. All right, I guess we got to dig. We got to dig our road or something. And I start digging.
Which isn't free. It costs money when you dig.
I realized once I start digging, I just cost myself like $1,000 with one brush stroke. And I'm like, oh, great, now I got a big hole.
You only start out with a certain amount of money, and you can't undo digging. Yeah. A lot of things that you buy and put down, you could sell and undo. Digging, you can't.
Yeah, so you have to pay to do like everything. You have to pay to get rid of trees. You got to plant trees. So you could lower and raise the land. So what I did by accident was lower a bunch of land.
Well, on purpose.
Yeah, but to me, it was by accident. To the game, it was on purpose. and then I just spent like another...
It's a feature, not a bug.
I just spent like another $1,000 to raise the ground back up. And then
this fact, you've already used like half the money they gave you.
No, they gave me like 10 grand, something like that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was a good chunk of change.
All right.
I think it was 10
shekels
grand.
on decals. Okay,
I think it was 10 grand. And so then I'm like, okay, I figured out that you have to like build a road or pathway or whatever. So I start building a pathway. I'm like, okay.
So you really didn't remember much about how?
No, nothing.
Okay. That's kind of good.
Yeah. It was. I came into it.
I've also played this through the years.
I really haven't played it in a long time.
Probably 10 years I played it.
Oh, so you had a good competitive advantage.
3 times in 30 years. Yeah.
So like I go and like I'm like, all right, I made like a path, and then like I make a ride, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I put my ride. I think I did like.
Do you remember what ride it was?
My first ride, I think, was the merry-go-round.
Okay.
And so then it's like merry-go-rounding. It sits there, right? And then I'm like, all right, so I make some more paths. It's actually
not merry-go-rounding.
Yeah, let me
it's just merry.
So
it's stationarily merry.
No, it wasn't very merry. It wasn't going, it was round.
Was there music playing at this point or no?
No, I don't think the music. Okay. I don't remember if while it's off, the music plays.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I made like, then I did like a pirate ship, and then I did,
one of those Buccaneer.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the Buccaneer things, and I did the egg scrambler. I think I did 2 of those, and then I did like 2 bathrooms so the heathens could pee and poop and stuff. And then I made
they are ought to do.
Yeah, and then I made like a burger in a what's it called place?
Drink store.
Yeah, burger and drinks and ice cream or something like that. And I'm like, all right, we're good to go. And I like opened up my park, and I eventually learned that you have to turn the rides on. And I'm like, these people are coming in. I got like one person coming in, and then so eventually I get up to like 5 people coming in. I'm like, all right, but they're not going at any of the rides. I'm like, what's going on here?
And the rides are also not moving.
Yeah.
Everything's just sitting
I thought when you turned on your park, it would turn on all the rides. I was wrong. I had to go. Eventually, I went and turned on all the rides. So then the music started up. I got to at least listen to a merry-go-round.
So I got to at least I'm listening to merry-go-round. So things are good.
Okay, no. But before this, I was like not able to listen to anything. And when I tried to have something open in my other tab, it would like crash my computer. So I'm fucking sitting in silence. It really was
like being back in the 90s.
Oh my God, yeah.
Actually, I think it worked better then.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. And then so I get like 5 people in my park. I'm like, this is pretty good. But they're not like I open the rides and they're not going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, I look, and they're like, I forget what they were complaining about. But then
you should mention how you're able to do that mechanic.
You can click on the people and it gives you like a view. You can click on the rides and it gives you different things you could see. If it's like how much the ride costs to go on, how many people, the min wait time, the max wait time, how often it should be serviced. Like,
we should mention that this is a sim type game.
Yeah. This is a running an adventure park simulator.
Yeah, you tweak. Yeah, exactly. You tweak things and see what happens.
Yeah, after a few minutes, not definitely a few minutes, not a small amount of minutes, I realized that you need an entrance and an exit to your rides.
That's actually strange that you mentioned that, because it normally, when you add the rides, it leaves you on that screen and has the entrance thing up and going.
Yeah,
and
it's
then you
clicked.
Just click around.
Yeah, but I just exit out. I figure I built the ride, I exit out. So I didn't realize. I had a good time for this shit. I'm trying to make a ride.
So wait a second. Okay, so you have to have paths in order for the people to walk there. And I'm explaining this for the audience. Okay? Yeah. So you have a path going right to the edge of the ride.
Yeah.
But no way to get on.
Well, it looked like you could just walk right onto the ride. It seemed like a good. It seemed very accessible.
All right, so at this point, you found out that you have to add entries and exits. Yeah.
But you can't put your entrance and exit on top of the path, and the entry and exit need to be touching the path. So I got to destroy all my rides.
Well, they don't have to be touching the path. You can add path to them.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But at this point, I had my path already. So I was like, I don't want to move the path. I'll move the rides.
You're married to the path idea.
Well, no. Well, I don't think you get the money back all the way for removing the path, but you get all your money back from the ride, I think.
If you haven't ran the ride, you will, or else you get like a reduced price.
Okay.
But the paths, I think, are full price. They're pretty cheap, sure. Like $25 a tile.
I mean, at this point, I was running low on money.
Well, from all that ground you moved around.
Yeah, but so then I figured that out, and I opened my park up to the people.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while it gives you an update. It's like, oh, your park is doing good.
Right. Or something. There's a little bar on the bottom.
Yeah. And it'll go, I think your park costs too little to get in. Yeah. And that's when I realized that there was prices for everything. There's admission
That's a
price.
nice little mechanic there.
Yeah. So there's admission price to get into the park. There's admission for each ride.
Which is weird in real life.
Yeah, I mean, most things don't do that, but sometimes they do. Like if you go to like a fair or something, you get like tokens, and then it's like one token to go on each ride or something. It's just
agreed.
And then it'll say you can change like the price of a hamburger or price of ice cream or whatever.
And you can change them individually or have the prices changed throughout the whole park at every store.
Which I guess
so you could really get granular and do like incrementality testing and figure out like which price burgers does better in which location.
Right. I guess if it's like a high flow area, you could probably charge more. But I don't know if they have that configured into the people that they're willing to pay that, you know?
It goes pretty deep. Well, I was reading the manual and it's a lot of stuff that I had never considered, but I'll mention that after.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So.
Wait, we should probably go back. Sorry, real quick pause. Each map that you choose is a scenario and it has a goal. That's the point.
I realized that after I went to my second scenario. I thought it was just.
So at some point it just told you win.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. Well, let's just say that happened to me.
Well, okay. Well, we'll get to the end of my scenario in a minute.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll run through both of my scenarios, but the second one is shorter. Okay. Because it was kind of a redemption story in a way. So then I was like, all right, I turned it on if people are finally coming, and I was able to charge a little bit more to get in. Things are going good. I'm like, all right, I got to start hiring more maintenance people and like entertainment and security guards and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, it's not so
people
bad.
you hire and they get paid monthly from your books. And so there's all kinds of like bookkeeping you can be doing.
So I hire a few maintenance people. I'm like, boom, hire, boom, hire. You know, I was like, all right, we'll start out with like 3.
Yeah.
And then I did the same. I think I did 3 or like 5 with engineering because I was like, I really want this park to go smooth because I'm getting some money, I'm making some more rides, and I'm like, boom, 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 yeah. And I have a few security guards and a few pandas. You know, like 2 pandas. I really want to get the people jazzed up.
Do you know that you could change them to different animals?
I did not know that. No.
You could do a tiger or an elephant.
Interesting. Mine was all pandas.
So what was the name of your park? Default park name.
No, I think it was like Chimeria or something like that. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. So then I'm going, and then like I start noticing there's like puke like everywhere.
You said that so casually.
And then I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, let me just give the maintenance people a chance to go. You know, let me just give them a chance to get over there. And then like, and then I like a ride or 2 breaks down, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna take them a little while to walk over, but like they're still not getting fixed. I'm like, all right, let me hire 1 or 2 more people. I'm like, I guess I'm a pretty successful, high throughput kind of park.
A lot of puke put.
Yeah,
high puke put actually. And
then like, so I hire a few more, whatever, and then like it's not working. And then like, so after like maybe like a half an hour of going through all this. This is loose time frames. I'm not notebooking all these numbers, and then
you're not writing down timestamps.
Yeah, exactly.
In assembly.
Okay. Yeah. I realized that like after you hit the hire button, they don't actually go until you place them in your park.
I hate that.
And I had realized that I had not hired anyone.
Wait, you said you saw a couple security guards and pandas walking around.
No, I said all of mine were security guards and pandas. I didn't want to hint early on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. This is a little storytelling technique.
Yeah.
Bro, oh my God, that was loud. So that's such an annoying gameplay mechanic. Like, why can't there be an auto place button? You could turn it off or on. You have to literally place every single person when you buy them.
And then it's like, and I don't know what their like range is if they stay in a specific location or stuff. But in my second scenario, I had to keep picking people up and dropping them in places because they weren't like getting to puke fast enough. It's like still. But so then in my first
you can manually assign regions if you want. Oh, that's cool.
All right.
Or else they just walk around. So then also they have specific tasks. Sorry to cut you off there. They have specific tasks per people. Like let's say maintenance guy has 4 different tasks he could be doing. Yeah. Mowing lawn, emptying garbage cans, sweeping, and watering things. And you could choose which of those subtasks you want him to be able to do or not. The problem I found, if you hire a lot of maintenance people and you just leave them by default, they're fucking mowing lawn the whole time.
Yeah, so my guys were mowing a lot of lawns. It didn't help that I was in like the forest place. So there's there's a lot of land. Also, I ran out of money, so I couldn't really build too many more buildings. But so then like I'm like, all right, fuck this. Now I'm so far behind, and I have so at this point, I should note that at this point I've at least attempted to hire about 10 of each of these services. And like
they're just in the void.
They're just in the void. So now I'm like, all right, fuck this. And so I scaled up to about like 15 maintenance people. I think I got up to about 28 engineers and about 15 pandas and 10 security guards.
That's absolutely wild.
And I drop them in, and I'm like, all right,
now you drop them.
Now I knew. This took me a few minutes to drop them all into my world.
Yeah.
But now they're part of my world. But this park is hustling and bustling, right?
Yeah.
I'm making some money. I'm putting in rides. My people are happy.
Yeah. Big time
and
baby.
I'm like, all right, let's let this roll. And I go and eat some dinner.
Sure.
And I go and I check back. And I'm like, because playing this game is it's a little hands off sometimes. You just kind of...
There's no fast forward.
Yeah, there's no fast forward.
You can pause, but there's no fast forward. And it's funny you say that because I actually had a flashback later today. I remembered that's one of the things that I did and people did. You just have the game playing and walk away. Because
and so I feel like I can say that safely because there's a little bit of a hands-off wait to see. I need to wait 10 minutes until I get enough money to make a ride.
It's pretty normal, yeah.
So then I go and eat some dinner, and then I go and take care of a few more things, and I come back and I'm at negative $39,000. And it's been 2 years in game. 2 years. Yeah, somehow it's been 2 years and passed.
It's like fucking Jumanji, Robin Williams. Yeah. What do you mean? How long were you gone?
I guess
the computer.
I was gone.
It wasn't been hours.
No, it wasn't that long because I was actively playing this game for a while. So it must have been like 45 minutes, maybe.
Did you have a stroke or something in real life that you don't know about? And you started playing on Tuesday, you wake up, it's Thursday, you're like, it's been 47 years.
I came back and it was at negative 39, like 500. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
How does it even let you go that far?
So my operating expenses were pretty high.
Oh, because you had 38 mechanics.
Yeah. That turned out not to be the right idea. I thought I was doing the right thing by giving all these people jobs. I get jobs.
You're helping the community.
Right. So at this point,
that neighboring community, so many mechanics and handymen that were out of work.
Right. So at this point, I had to cut costs across the board. It's a great panda culling of 2022.
And they're guys in panda suits, by the way.
So yeah, Bob, there was.
Do you know what they're for?
To the kids. Are they to like entertain the kids?
Well, so from what I read in the manual, and this is the first time I read the manual, from the manual, apparently one of the things they do is like they'll appease the crowd if they're waiting in line for a long time. They'll be less annoyed about it.
No, I didn't have that problem because I realized after I was done playing the game that I didn't make any lines for any of my rides.
So people just walked right in.
They walked right in, but I had entrances, so it's pretty much like only one person was able to get on the ride at a time. Which is why I had lost so much money.
What a fucked amusement park.
So now I had to slash all employees, and like I had to keep some. There was like this park was flawless and it was running real smooth, but there was no one in it.
Well, that's why.
So
there's no puke. At
this point, I had to cut but like no one wanted to go there because they couldn't get on the rides. They thought it was too expensive. So I had to cut all my employees. Then I had to slash all of my costs down. So it was like free to get in.
Which takes forever to do physically.
You can click it. You can hold it down.
Click and hold. Even still, there's no sorry, just to mention, when everything you do brings up a little window, which looks nice because it actually looked like Windows 95 or 98. But you have to click everything. I couldn't find a hotkey for exiting. You can't press escape to close a little window. So you have to click everything.
Yeah. So then I tried slashing all my costs and like.
Yeah. At this point.
And then it was basically free to get in my park. And then I was like free to get in the park, but still no one wanted to come because like I still couldn't afford a roller coaster because I didn't get enough money. I went straight into the red.
What are the amusements at this park? Why should somebody go?
It was merry-go-round. Pirate ship.
Getting shit in my pants.
I was feverishly taking the temperature of every person coming in, and everyone was like, I wish I could see something crazier than a merry-go-round. This is too expensive for a merry-go-round. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in debt. And they won't let you take out a lien on your theoretical house in the game. So I'm trying to dig myself out of the red by giving away free merry-go-rounds.
There is a loan that you have, and you pay interest on it as well.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't helping me.
There's like a whole finance screen.
Yeah, so then like eventually, like no matter what I did, it just kept getting bigger and bigger until it was at like negative 42,000. And then I was like, I don't think this is unrecoverable.
This is a Michael Bachelor type situation.
Yeah, and
you're not get out of this one.
So I had to quit that one.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do another thing where I was like, I remember making some cool water parks back in the day. I tried doing that and like digging and making water coasters was pissing me off after this failed experiment. I was like, fuck this. And I went and did the diamond experience where they like give you a park.
Okay.
And I was like, this is nice. This is a nice, I felt so accomplished.
Let me get 35, 38 more mechanics in here. Just really.
Well, I got in there and I hired a few maintenance people. Let me tell you what. There's a lot of puke in there.
Going. There's a couple pandas in the mix.
And I jacked up all the prices. I wasn't making enough money in there. I was really
okay.
Yeah. But,
getting your revenge on the customers.
Then I was starting to make some money in that one. And then it got a little boring since it wasn't such a wild scenario.
Yeah.
That it was just like a regular park experience, so where it got like a little boring for me.
Jim, things often go off the rails for you on your first try at games.
That's what I get for not reading any of the rules.
It's a bit of a theme. There's also a demo. I didn't play it. What's our team? There's also a demo. I didn't play it, but the manual makes it seem pretty good.
Okay. All right. So tell me what you did.
Yeah. Well, now it seems like very uninteresting compared to your whole fucking thing because I knew how to play. So I actually thought it was like good. I thought it was very well made. I thought it was not quite fun. It was a little satisfying to very begin with. And then I was like, I am very good at this game.
Yeah, I would say, let me just put this bow on my whole thing. I think it was, I agree with myself that I said I'm being painted as someone who doesn't like these games, but I wouldn't say I didn't like the game. It wasn't that much fun because it went so catastrophically bad, but it was it was very immersive and like I wanted to keep playing the game. You know what I mean? Like
it was Moorish.
You get like lost in time playing it, and like it's very like captivating and like it's so in depth and like I would definitely keep playing it, but it was like, oh man, when I came back after like eating dinner and I was like so fucked.
Fucking 39 grand in debt.
I was like, what happened? My maintenance people have done me so dirty.
They don't even exist.
No, they're all just
taking paychecks to be no shows.
Sitting around kicking rocks.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But yeah, I mean,
I do have a couple notes from my experience here. And I did learn some new things, believe it or not.
Okay.
So when you create your own roller coasters, which I think, as Jim mentioned, was a lot of people's favorite things to do. You could really, depending on the type of coaster, really build it out, do all kinds of things. And then if you've got one of the more advanced ones, you could tweak all the settings for things like how fast it goes at certain parts and all kinds of shit. And I had one of them that I made, it does like a single loop and then it goes up and then gravity pulls back down.
Yeah.
So I made one that was already pre-made because, so you should probably add this. For a lot of the rides that have tracks, they give you a set of, not templates, but like presets, pre-made, pre-designed tracks, or you can make your own for a lot of them. So if you like tinkering like that, and you got the bankroll, you can really go crazy.
Yeah,
so that is
I did
pretty
not
fun.
have the bankroll, just for record.
I only did very end game. And I knew from experience that you really want to make these crazy coasters once you have like the good coaster technology, because there's like kind of tiers of it. And you can end up bankrupting yourself so hard. And then the ride like isn't finished or isn't great.
You could like lose money in this game?
Well, not in the traditional, walk away for 30 minutes version. But, spend like 10 grand on a roller coaster that nobody wants to ride. And then they immediately vomit when they get off of it.
But that's kind of
because that's also one of the things. So for this particular ride, I took a pre-made one and I was like, let me just turn it up a couple notches on like the booster and the thing. And the fucking thing shot off the track like a rocket.
Really?
And exploded.
That's amazing.
Which I remember that you could do. Luckily, nobody was on it yet. It was like the very first one that went. And so nobody died, but they very much can die. Like if there's people on your rides, they can crash. And it's like a whole thing. Like
I tried
screaming, your park gets like a bad rep. Nobody wants to go on the ride because they remember someone died on it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I tried making like a custom roller coaster, but I couldn't figure out how to make it like turn. Or like how to get people to get onto
you
it.
You had it straight away.
Well, no, I kind of figured out how to do like, those loading tracks. I laid a few of those out.
Those bad boys.
Those bad boys. And I couldn't figure out how to get an entrance.
I got the station going.
I couldn't figure out how to get like an entrance on it.
I need to give you like a guided call on how to actually play this game.
Yeah, I couldn't build things. It was like I enjoyed being able to figure it out, but like, don't be shocked if I just fucking give up if it's too complicated.
I actually thought it was very intuitive, but it was hard for me to imagine what it was like before I knew, because a lot of kids played this. Definitely none of them read the manual or did the demo.
I did it at one point.
Yeah.
When I was less learned, I was able to figure this shit out. But now
your mind was more pure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Kind of a Nimrod. Yeah. But also, if we would have like took a look over your shoulder when you were 6 years old, however you are when you were playing it, you were probably doing some dumb shit.
No. I was like a savant, a RollerCoaster Tycoon
There's
savant.
probably only pandas, no rides.
The proven
pandas
success.
as far as the eye can see. So yeah, that's one of the things I did. And one of the other things I had learned that I didn't originally know, because as Jim mentioned, you're in silence.
Oh my God.
Certain rides, very few of them, have music by default. One of them is the carousel. But what I didn't know is you could add music to any ride.
Oh, fuck. Bob, the whole time I'm like playing this game, I'm like, I just need to hover over the carousel so I could hear something. Let me just hang out here for a little bit. I don't want to get too far away. It's too quiet.
You should have made carousels every 100 feet.
I thought about it after a while.
Yeah, you could. And I just learned that this time, all these years later, by accident. It's not on one of the tabs that you'd think it's on. It's on like the people tab.
Wouldn't that be like cacophonous if like all your rides are playing music? Like,
I don't know. It kind of sounds normal. And
I guess
it does
like
break up the silence and makes it a little bit more tolerant. But the one thing I will add, because for long time, short time listeners will know, we break down the kind of the different sections. So I'll mention sound here. Really good sound design. I like all the sound effects. I like the placement. I like the vault levels. When there is music and everything, it really works, and it does sound very realistic, like a theme park. The rides, like, it all.
Yeah.
It's not janky at all. It's very smooth.
The only music I had in the game was the carousel, and I didn't get tired of it. Maybe because I longed for it so, but...
I think, because I actually noted that, I was like, wow, I am not getting sick of this carousel music. Yeah. There's a lot of songs for it. I think there was a good amount of tracks, because they knew if it was the same clip, it was going to drive people insane.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And you don't want to do that with a carousel.
Or with the simulation game.
I learned how to add the music.
Like a game that you're going to have people like sit down and play for like long periods of time.
Hours and hours. Yeah. Well, or walk away from.
Whoa, you just peaked like a mug.
Oh, my bad. I don't know how. Or walk away from. Other notes that I have from my experience, you have to set the prices on everything. Some of them come with prices. Others you have to set, which is kind of a positive and negative, depending on how much you like setting prices. I also found out in the manual that they advise pricing rides high when you first make them, and then over time lowering the price because people are less willing to pay the same price for an older ride.
They know it's old?
They know. There's like levels on levels to this game that you don't even need to know unless you really want to. You could just be tinkering. As Jim kind of mentioned earlier, one of the parts of this game that's very helpful and is an interesting mechanic. So there's people walking around your park. As I mentioned, at one point I got to like 850 or whatever the fuck it is. But you can individually follow a person, see what they're thinking, see what their inventory is, see how much money they came with and how much money they spent. See their hunger level, thirst level, nausea level, everything on an individual basis. See what items they have on them because you could sell them umbrellas and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it says like, and they give feedback. I guess internally to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, they have thoughts that apparently they're thinking. And you could also see that in aggregate. You could switch over and see everyone's thoughts together to see what the most popular thoughts are.
Interesting. That one I didn't
know. If you're looking for things to do, switch over. You can see all the thoughts. Number one thought, I'm not paying this much to go on roller coaster 1. And then okay.
I'm not paying this much to go on a merry-go-round.
A merry-go stationary. Yeah. There's no entrance to any of these rides.
Well, no one said
your
that.
Mouth.
No one said that. Would have been helpful if they had said that.
Other notes that I have, I'll guess and thoughts.
Oh, I did get.
Don't try and change the resolution.
Let me just one more experience note.
Please,
did you get any awards?
Yes, a number of them.
Okay, what did you get?
Cleanest park at one point, best park in the country. I think that was it that I saw.
I got cleanest park at one point, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I had so many staff. And then eventually towards the end, I got most disappointing park of the year.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think I had saw that. Yeah, that comes up on your kind of bottom display thing. And I think what's interesting, through the whole time while you're playing, you have that bottom status bar there. And if you're not doing anything, it's just gray on gray, copyright Chris Sawyer. 1999.
Gotta love it.
Shout out to him. Putting himself out there. I had a very hard time trying to figure out how to get my crashed coaster up and running again. I pressed every single button in the world. But I eventually go to the manual and I saw you have to press red twice or yellow twice or something to reset the ride.
Really?
If anybody's going to go play the game. Yep, that's the thing. After it crashes, it won't run again unless you reset it.
Huh. Yeah, no. Luckily, I didn't have that problem.
There's a really cool foreword in the manual by John Wardley, famous roller coaster and ride designer, if you like that kind of thing. Here's another one of the things that I had learned only from reading the manual that I never knew before. Like little levels on levels. Okay. Don't build roller coasters too close to food stalls.
Oh,
because people are going to eat, immediately go on a ride, and then immediately throw up.
Huh.
So you have to help them from themselves. Okay.
Interesting.
Also, the theme items and decorations improve the rider's experience of the rides, especially if they're thematic. So if you have a water ride and as they're walking to the ride, they see like water things, fountains and stuff like that, they're going to enjoy the ride more.
That makes sense.
It's pretty crazy. They got real fucking deep.
I put two statues in at one point.
I went crazy with the
They
one
were two
elephant
giraffes kissing each other. It wasn't near any of the rides.
It's not like you're getting a little too much pleasure. Where was it? Just out in the field?
Yeah, it was out in the field.
Pandas are dancing around it.
Well, no, the pandas don't leave the park ever.
I'm sorry. Not if they don't. It's good for them.
Yeah.
I already mentioned the thing about the prices. This is just one of my notes here. Not having a fast forward option is a strange choice.
Yeah.
It's a strange choice.
Maybe you just didn't even think of it. Maybe it wasn't a choice.
It's entirely possible, but I'm pretty sure the sim game, some of the other sim games came before it that had
maybe he didn't like that then. Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I mean, the guy likes making train games.
Yeah, trains are slow.
I'm just saying you're a particular type of person if you like designing train tracks. And maybe you don't like fast forward because trains are slow.
Slow forward.
Right. I wrote building platforms and on water gets very squirrely. So this whole game's on an isometric view which is like 3/4 kind of looking down.
Oh my God.
And when you're building things with height, which you can do, which is kind of a cool aspect, and you can have like boardwalks and all kinds of things going in and on themselves. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell how tall they are or not. And when you're lowering things, sometimes it's hard to see what the fuck, where you are and what's lowering. Yeah. So now what I didn't think of, I'm just realizing now, there's a way to change what you can see and what you can't.
Yeah, it's in like the top of the screen or something like that. And there's like a...
Yeah, in the top. Hold on 1 second here.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry. Now I'm going to have to edit the whole goddamn thing.
You're like, nah, it's near the top, see?
All right, Jim. Explain to everyone what just happened briefly. We had to take a quick intermission because there was a frog in my throat.
Yeah, Bob swallowed some sort of frogrin.
Some kind of frog-like
He was talking
creature,
about
which I think
views.
is still there even.
Yeah, whatever. I'll talk about the view.
Go ahead.
Why don't you try and mute yourself and I'll figure out the view part.
All right, I'll do that.
So there's like there's like an eyeball or something which signifies like view, and you could turn off like you could like see into the underground. You could turn off like the some of the forestry and things like that. You could see underwater.
Right, the transparency of everything. Yeah.
And so Bob figured that out at the end. What I figured out at the end is that like when you're doing like landscaping work or whatever, like raising and lowering the ground or something like that, which I guess I remembered once I was able to do it, which is like you could select more than one square at a time. You can expand your cursor. Yeah. You could do like a 4x4 square, or you could do it like an 8x8. Oh, dude, I know.
Jesus Christ. I tried building a lake once. I almost fucking blew my brains out.
Oh my God. It's
individually
so annoying.
Lowering every tile.
Especially because like how Bob mentioned, it's that like 3/4 angle view. It's so sensitive to where you need to be like selecting the middle of each square. Otherwise you'll lower that angle, that side of the square. So it'll just be like an angle.
Works off like triangles.
Super annoying. But then I figured that you can do 4 at a time, and then you can't get angles because you can't do an angle for all of them at the same time.
That makes me really mad because I really wanted to do like a bumper boats thing.
Yeah, I was trying to raise the land, like split the seas, like Noah.
Raise the land.
Is that no Moses? Sorry, I'm getting
Moses raised the land.
Yeah, he raised the land.
He did some things. He raised the roof.
Yeah,
at some points, I'd imagine.
And so I could build like a roller coaster that was like over the water a little bit or something. But then I ran out of money in the second one too, because it cost me like thousands of dollars to raise 16 by 16 sections of land.
It's actually pretty forgiving when putting things down to begin with. So you could put a roller coaster right on top of the water and it'll automatically add the supports for you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But if you want to build a fucking the exit might even do it for you as well. But then you got to build your own way to get there and get out. And it can be pretty annoying. Building the correct angle to get there in time. Sometimes you're working on a path and you realize like, oh shit, I'm not going to get there in time. Even if I keep going all the way out.
So
I tried to go back and change the angle.
I tried to do one of those like bumper ducks things or something like that too. And I like popped it in the lake, and then like I didn't know how to get people to it because I couldn't build a road or anything.
Please make your way to the ducks in an orderly swimming fashion.
Swim over there, yeah.
Please grab a panda and swim your way over.
They probably float, yeah. So yeah, that was an issue for me. Issue.
Yeah, that is certainly very annoying.
Yeah.
You could also, and this is one of the interesting things that I did know, you could spend money on marketing.
Interesting. How does that work?
So you can pay a certain amount of money and then pick what you want to advertise. So I think it's like $200 a month to get people to come to the park. $350 a month to get them to go to a certain ride. You could give away free drinks. You can give away free food. You could do a number of different things, and you'll get charged every month, which you have to pay ahead of time because I guess they don't trust you bust the ass. That
I mean, my expenses were so far, out of whack that I'm pretty sure I was paying for something, but I wasn't doing too much there.
It's really weird that it lets you go into the negatives. I guess it's only with recurring charges, not with, because you can't buy something if you don't have enough money.
I couldn't buy anything.
Yeah. That's going to be a big 10-4. I also made a note of, God damn it, you have to pay interest. I made a note of two. Okay, so when you put down a ride, by default, it'll name the ride's name, and then a number. So like Roller Coaster 1, Roller Coaster 2. But you can put your own names.
Yep.
And you could change the colors and you could change the kinds of cars. There's a lot of little tweaks you could do if you really want to and care. So at the beginning I did, my first coaster was called Ass Coaster. And then my merry-go-round was called Weenus Go Round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I did appreciated that one. And I have a surprising amount of carousel music.
Yeah.
And there you go. So was my thought while playing this game, because I really don't have that many gameplay notes. And I think your experience is much more interesting than mine was anyway.
If you say so.
It was a lot like playing The Sims, where I was really excited to play it. I know that I've enjoyed playing it. I know that everyone talks about it and loves it. But when I went back and played it, I got to a point I was like, all right, I guess I did it. I mean, it felt a little too easy, and it doesn't have incremental checkpoints or goals.
Right.
So the first one, you have a quote year to get to a certain thing. For each one, it'll give you a thing. You need to get like a park rating of this, amount of people of this. Sometimes they have, you need to have this much money. You need to pay off whatever. The next one, and it takes a good amount of time. I think it was like an hour or two to get 1 year in total. I was pretty sure.
No, it's quicker than that.
It felt like it. Felt like a long time. Either way. And then for the second one that I picked, and the only other options, it was like 3 years in the game. And I was like, when the fuck is this going to happen? Because there's literally no checkpoints. So if things are going well, there's nothing really stopping you from doing anything for any reason. Now, they might have changed that down the line. I've literally only played the first one. So maybe I'll enjoy more when we move on to the other ones, which I'm sure will come up at some point.
Oh, loud.
We'll see kind of what they did change that. But I mean, that's kind of what it's like in sim games. You're supposed to just kick back and tinker and try and bits and piece and customize and how you want it, and then let the game play. And I guess for some people that you could really get into that mindset and really enjoy like designing roller coasters. And I made a really cool go-kart track. I made 1 or 2 roller coasters that were pretty cool.
Yeah, I turned one of my rides green.
With envy. But I definitely had that, who's this versus? How do I win?
Yeah.
And I only had one goal, and it was so far off that I got kind of deflated, especially when I was doing well, and it didn't feel that challenging.
I'll tell you what, mine did feel challenging when I was super in debt, and like I was trying to scrape anything together to make it towards the black.
I agree. Like that made it
really interesting. Yeah.
When you start out, it only gives you a few scenarios, and when you beat them, it gives you more, and there's a bunch of them. It is possible that there's more complicated ones, but you really have to it's a bit of a slog to get to ones that are more difficult. It doesn't let you just go from Jump Street like, this park's fucking hemorrhaging money. Also, there's security guards. I always just hired them, but I don't know what happens if you don't.
I don't know. Maybe riffraff.
Do people sneak in?
Maybe sneak in. Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe jump the rails and go into a ride without paying.
Play on the third rail or something.
Yeah, there needs to be a way to, and I'm saying this as if they're going to actually go change it. There needs to be a way for it to be more difficult and have more checkpoints, because that I think keeps you going in a rhythm. Okay, what's the next thing?
I think the difficulty is doing it like perfectly, But
how do you measure?
Money. You make it a money.
Yeah, but how much is enough?
Never,
how much
money never is enough.
That's what I'm saying. You can't how do I know if I'm doing really well? Well, also, is it kind of like a StarCraft thing where you should never have that much money because you should be spending it?
Yeah, essentially. But that is a who versus. So there's a little more direct consequences when you're sitting on all this money.
And then people are, butt fucking you with
I'm
dragoons.
sorry. You might have played a different game.
Well, it depends which version you have. Jim, do you know that there was unauthorized expansion packs for StarCraft?
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, so you could download their like map packs and campaigns that people have made, but StarCraft's another episode.
I don't know when we'll get to that. That's endgame.
I wonder what's the next sim game that we'll play, because we've had very interesting experiences with simulation type games. So far, really, oddly enough, I liked Majesty the best.
Majesty was kind of fun. Frustrating in its own right, but still fun.
I'm wondering if having played a game before is really a hindrance in my fun level.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it seems like it is. So far, I'm striking out on all the ones that I thought I was super stoked to replay again.
Okay, so here's what I suggest.
Yeah.
What you could do is huff a lot of gasoline and erase all your memories. Sure. And then you essentially will have never played any game.
With you so far. So you're saying I should get fucked up in some way before I play these. If it's a game I've played before, don't do it.
No. I mean, like, irreparably fucked up. So like that way you purge all of your memories forever.
Yeah, but then I won't remember that I had the memories.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then it won't work. Because I think I'm playing it for the first time.
Exactly. That's what you want to.
How can I play a game again and still remember that I had played it before and enjoy it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were just trying to.
Yeah. I think maybe your, don't be sober idea is a good idea.
It could be. Are you going to be able to take like notes?
Yeah. Worst case scenario,
they're
maybe it's hilarious.
I was drunk during some of the first Monkey Island. Like, and my notes for that. The next day I could not. I don't know. I was writing about a monkey, and I was like, I don't even remember there being an actual monkey in the game.
I remember that. You're like something about Little Timmy. I named the monkey Little Timmy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then other your notes are just like unintelligible.
Yeah. That was bad.
Yeah,
but
well, I have no idea how we are on time, but I think
we're pretty good.
I think we've covered RollerCoaster Tycoon. Do you want to give some final thoughts?
Yeah, if you haven't played it in 12 years, go play it again. Or 20 years, I guess.
Do you think it still holds up?
Yeah, it plays. Yeah, I mean, the graphics they look pretty good for the time. They're not trying to do a lot at all.
It's an interesting style, but it does it very well. Like certain things are very low detail. Like the people are like they're very tiny little wriggly. They have like a head and two dot eyes. But it works because there's a lot of them on screen. And there's a lot of detail in the rides. And I was watching some of the rides. Like every little turn of the coaster, all the light changes on everything. The graphics are really well done.
And the graphics don't have a direct impact on like the experience. They don't have like the enjoyment or the actual function of the game aren't tied to the graphics at all. Like if you're playing a game in which you need to be able to make out if you're shooting the right person or not, and you need to be able to see the detail of someone's face.
Jim, are you throwing shade at GoldenEye right now?
No, I wasn't, but I can if you want me to. I wasn't at all. But this
that's the first game I thought of when you said that.
No, I hadn't crossed my mind. But this it doesn't matter. These are all like amorphous people that come in your park. You're focusing.
What's amorphous mean?
Like unidentifiable, kind of not have a shape, right?
That's a good point because I don't know if I could tell that they were men or women. They all had I think
that would be androgynous, right?
Yeah.
So amorphous is without a clearly defined shape or form. So
that one's not true because they had very clear shapes and forms. They were people. You could tell. No, I know,
but you did. Yeah, but I know they were people, but it didn't matter what people they were. They were all just people.
Right. Yeah. You could tell that they were people, and that was enough.
Right. I didn't mean to imply that they were floating singular amoebas, but they were all
electron clouds.
They could have all had the exact same face. I don't know, and it wouldn't have mattered,
Yeah. They had different colored t-shirts.
Yes, they did.
And I did like watching them move around.
Yeah, I was watching them move. I was watching them.
Keep it moving. Get some cotton candy.
I saw especially when I was down to 4 or 5 people in my park. I got to really observe.
Hey, Dwayne.
This guy goes and he walks up to the pirate ship and then he doesn't go in.
That's his fucking problem.
And I click on him and I'm waiting to see this thought bubble pop up about my pirate ship. I'm like, what's this guy got to say? Huh?
I think there was an option to give them names or always use real names or something like that. I think I turned that on, but I don't remember because it'll probably be guest 5 or maybe they had names. I don't remember. That also could be a different game. I'm fucking confusing menu screens at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and I agree with Jim. I think that the game definitely holds up. I think depending on who you are, you still might get a lot of enjoyment from it. I myself, not as much as I was hoping. It has nothing to do with the game. It has everything to do with me. Just need a little bit more checkpoints and goals. And I don't enjoy sim games as much as I used to. I don't know. Maybe I don't have the patience to tinker around. Or I think, and we've mentioned this before, I think when it comes to sim games and this podcast for me, I'm trying to make progress. And so if I'm not making what seems like progress, then it's I'm not getting anywhere rather than just the pure enjoyment of,
I'm trying to just enjoy the game, Bob.
Oh, right? Good. Well, I could tell by your score.
I mean, I'm trying, but it hasn't really worked out for me.
Some games have been problematic.
Yeah, like Tomb Raider, I got stuck in that cave for an hour.
I thought I got far in Tomb Raider.
You got much further than me in Tomb Raider.
People tell me not, because apparently, according to text rants from one of our friends, you do shoot people eventually.
Yes, I've heard of this person you speak of.
But you said during your background research that you purposely don't shoot people.
That's what it said. Yeah,
that's
like from the creator.
Yeah,
maybe the actual quote is that he tried not to. Yeah, he could have been thinking of Tomb Raider 2 or 4 or 7 or 9, however many they've made at this point.
So I'd say final thoughts is Chris Sawyer made a damn good game. I think at some point, probably much further down the line, we'll play the other ones, especially if someone recommends them. It hasn't come in yet, so I don't know how well the others sold. I would imagine at least 2 sold pretty well, like as the direct follow-up.
I would think so.
And I really enjoyed, again, learning the backstory, learning about the creator. Gave me a lot more appreciation when I was playing. I was like, wow, this fucking guy made this game, and this shit is rock solid. Everything performs really well. Besides the fact that it hates our new computers.
Oh my God.
These days, and is giving my computer all kinds of problems, and I'm gonna have to restart it now because of it. So, Jim, we do a rating at the end of each podcast.
Oh yeah,
and our rating scale, and we each have a different name for ours, is based on enjoyment. It's not the quality of the game. It's not graphics, Celeron processors, dude. You're getting a Dell. Nothing like that. It's just how much you enjoyed it when you played. And Jim's scale is on points. Out of 10? How many points would you assign this?
What if I change my scale? What if they're bits out of 16?
Feel free.
I got to think of the conversion rate. Do yours first.
Okay. So mine's out of 10, and mine's are Bob's old bald man basement gaming points. And I'm going to give this one for enjoyment I feel like I usually do like a 7.5, but I will say 7.5.
You gotta not be afraid to give these games bad ratings if you did. So this is again. This
but I didn't hate it.
Right. So this is not if the game is good or not. This is our experience. Correct.
Well, exactly. Well, so I have to kind of compare it to other things in other games. I'd rather be playing this than some other games that I didn't enjoy as much. I'd rather be playing this than Tomb Raider. I'd rather be playing this than Escape from Monkey Island. Like, there's a number of games I would rather be playing. I would rather not be playing than this. And also, like, as I was doing it, like this, the very last time, my last hour I did today right before the podcast, and I was getting more into it. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to continue to play after this. Like, for anybody who's seen the show, continue. Would you continue playing this game? I don't think I'm going to. I just don't have that spark anymore, unfortunately. But I'm going to, like I've said, force my kids to play it once I have them. Once I make them and then have them.
All right. So I've done the internal conversion ratios.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to give it a 10.5 out of 16.
Okay. Don't know how that feels to me.
Out of 16
but
bits.
If I'll just have it to 8.
Just have it. Have it and
so
double
5 out of 8.
Have it and double it.
Okay.
Right? And then you'll be at 16.
So All right. So you felt moderately okay about it.
Yeah, I felt okay about it, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I had a good, when it was good, I had a good time, but it was really frustrating to where I can't give it anything better than like a 60% or whatever that equates to.
You know, it's really interesting because you talking about your experience is a lot different than your recap of how you felt. Although you did say at the beginning that it was very frustrating, you didn't sound frustrated when you were talking about it. Because now that I've heard you complain about a number of games, I almost don't believe that you were frustrated.
No,
because you don't sound like.
No, but it's fun to talk about.
Because you look fondly on it.
No, because I know that you'll enjoy how much that it frustrated me. So it's tough for me to
that is very
find
true.
enjoyment in that. You know.
Yeah. You know, the one thing is that I think you definitely didn't think at the time, but definitely do now. You're like, this is some great content. I never think that when I'm playing the games when things are going bad. No,
I'm certainly not. I knew after. I knew once I came back to my computer and saw it was so fucking red. I was like, yes, like this is gonna be fun to talk about. I didn't noteworthy. Obviously, I didn't do it on purpose or anything like that. You know, but
and no one's accused us of that. I mean,
I definitely do not have the foresight.
We're getting it in the range
talent.
of 9 views, and out of those 9 people, no one's accused us of faking the enthusiasm or the experience. So that's good. You know, they know that we're legit. One thing I'd like to add in again, this particular game was a recommendation, and you can recommend a game for us to play as well. In order to do that, send us an email to theboys@cdromp.com. cdromp.com. And also if you just go to the website, cdromp.com, cdromp.com, you can, there's links for our email address and a bio and all the previous episodes. This was episode 10.
Sounds right.
I think it's episode 10. I think we've actually managed to get 10. And we've actually managed to get viewers to say, is this show dead or what?
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
That's a good.
People say you've made it when you get death threats, when the show has death questions.
Is this show over or no?
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you now know it's not. Well, this particular one's almost over. Which brings us to our last segment. Now, I picked RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
I took from our list of recommendations.
Yeah. I'd say, I guess you picked, but
I picked, but I don't have to.
Right. But you're the recommendation guy, right?
We have a nice little thick list here of recos, and I've been agreeing with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And if we get to a point where I'm like, I don't think we're quite ready for this.
Yeah.
I'll pick something to, put it on pause. Okay. I'm not going to skip anybody in the list around, but I'll inject where I think.
Yeah, but they won't know what order they are in the list, so you can.
They won't know, but I'll know.
Wink, wink.
I'll know. Like if there's like a good one, 3 people in a row that are looking for like point and click adventures.
Right. If someone's like, you guys should play Torrance Passage, you boost them up the list.
They go right up the list. Although I don't know if there's an easy way to play that game. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, we can get discs. They're not that expensive.
No, but I don't know if the system will even play it.
That's fair.
Just because we
buy
have
old
game.
Computers.
I've said that before.
Yeah.
I bet you could probably get a Nook, like a really small one. Do you know what an Intel Nook is? The little like mini computers?
Yeah.
You could probably set one up with Windows 95 and using a USB, put ISOs on it, and then have it hooked up to your peripherals and monitors.
You certainly could.
If we needed to. That's kind of a great idea I just had. But anyway, it's James's turn to pick the game. I have unlike last episode, which last episode was, what game was
Fallout.
it? Fallout.
The one that I picked was Fallout. Yeah.
Jim picked Fallout. I picked RollerCoaster Tycoon.
That's correct.
Now we're back to Brother Bear again. James, I have no prior knowledge of what you're about to say.
I'm
Please
aware of that, yeah.
Tell us what game we're going to be playing for 3 hours this week and then coming back to compare notes.
At least 3 hours. Or if you get it.
At least. Or if you beat it.
Yeah, I guess.
Spy Fox, I beat.
That's fair. So a game that I have never played before.
Yes.
It is by. I was gonna do a thing where like I make you guess what it is, but I didn't ever really know this game. But Star Wars Rebellion.
I swear to the beer gods, I was going to guess that whatever you picked, the developer studio was LucasArts.
I'm just gonna say LucasArts, and then
maybe I just knew by the look of your face that you were going to say LucasArts. I should have just said it.
I was going to say it, and then in my head I was like, "There's so many Star Wars games." So like,
I also wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to guess.
I was like, "This isn't going to get anywhere." Exactly. Yeah, that's why I abandoned it.
It still would have been impressive if we did that, guys. You would have been impressed.
Yeah, they're pre-pressed.
Okay, can you? So this is Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah, it's supposedly like an RTS kind of game. It's like a strategy game-ish. It's not like an actual RTS. So they say.
You mean
I've never played it before.
You mean like fantasy?
How about this? I'll read the description.
Sure.
Although an RTS in the wider sense of the term, it belongs more to the genre of 4X games resembling Master of Orion.
Okay, let's not tell me anymore, actually.
I know, hold on. There are elements of turn-based games as well, as the events of each day of the game are processed at the end of that day. The player commands manufacturing of facilities, troops, and starships, resources, fleet deployment, mission assignments of units and characters. The player assumes the role of a military administrator and takes control over the Galactic Empire or Rebel Alliance.
Okay. There's a lot of spoilers in there for people. Erase your memories with gasoline if you don't want to know anything about that.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you just erase that since we're editing this?
We can leave it in to see what people thought.
No. Get rid of it.
We'll leave it in. Well, see, I only matters if I know it or not. The people are going to hear it regardless. Don't try and make sense of that.
I think we should get rid of it.
We'll talk about it and figure it out. Right. If you're listening to this right now, you don't know whether we took it out or not. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't.
Took what out?
Exactly. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next week for Star Wars Rebellion. If you'd like to play along, again, the rules of the game are play for 3 hours or at least, or unless you feel like you got the game or you beat it, or just play along after. If you play any of these games at any point, drop us an email, comment on the YouTube channel. I don't know how commenting and liking and all that shit works on all the podcast things, but do something. Instagram is at I Drank Beer. Let us know. I Drank Beer Show. We want to hear from you. And that's it. That's the show. We did a podcast. Jim?
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye, cruel world. Next time I see you, I will have been a Star Wars for 3 hours.
You will have warred.
All right. Later. From my family to yours. Keep on romping. We'll keep on
cromping.
Cromping.